And what is up, everybody? Ace here, and it's been a little while. I have officially moved to New Hampshire. As you can see in the background, I have some good old GoPro footage of different portions of my drive. This is all taken during the second half of the trip, as the first half wasn't really was pretty straightforward. The second half takes you through a lot more states, so figured I would show different clips of that. So, but there's a lot to talk about. Um, Hopefully, I can remember it all. So, if I miss anything, I'll probably try to catch it up in a future video. But let's start by talking about. First of all, I'm using my MacBook microphone, which seems to be pretty clear, despite me being a little ways away from it. But if you hear any other noises around me, I apologize in advance for that. But talking about the drive itself, pretty straightforward. The first half of the trip was, um, like I said, straightforward, nothing special. Just took I-40, which then you keep going straight, which takes you onto Interstate 81, and you just go all the way up Virginia, all the way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Actually, went a little bit past that. Um, I don't think there's really much to talk about at that point. I think it rained a little bit, like all the way up. Um, we had one brief slowdown at one point. I guess it was like the last remnants of an accident because all there was a couple cops there, which I guess there used to be an accident there, but that was the only slowdown. Traffic was pretty light because of the whole coronavirus stuff, keeping everybody indoors. So, you know, uh, so there's that, I guess. And I was actually kind of worried that my hotel would be closed because on the way up, there were a lot of hotels that were not open. But the place that I chose was actually a little local hotel, so it was pretty convenient that they were open. I actually missed my exit and had to take the next one and double back, which actually turned out in my favor because you can only because there's a big old median in the middle of the road, so you can't make a left-hand turn. You have to go, find a way to turn around and come back, which so it all worked out. But yeah, I stayed the night at this place called the Cottage Inn and Self Storage. So if you need to store your stuff and stay the night, there you go. It was pretty cozy. It is basically a cottage split in two. There's like a few of them there, and they're split into two like hotel room type things. And just stayed the night. It was what it was. The shower wasn't hot. The water wasn't hot in the showers, but besides that, everything was fine. Second half of the trip, I don't think anything else spectacular happened. Um, I took a bit of a different route than when I moved to Massachusetts. And this time I drove up into Wilkes-Barre and Scranton. I think that's the double cities there. And instead of continuing north into Schenectady and then cutting through Vermont, I actually uh, continued east into basically across southern New York. Not quite into New York City or anything like that, but I avoided all that. But cut through there, which you'll see in a little bit, and then through Connecticut, up through Massachusetts, and through New Hampshire to where I am now. Um, that entire way has like one toll booth. There's technically three that you could hit, depending on the route you take, but I was able to avoid two of them pretty easily. So, and yeah, traffic was light, even during the rush hour periods. Um, Hartford still had a lot of cars like driving through it, but I didn't get held up at any point. It was just pretty busy, and you actually get to see that later. Um, because the footage right now is just me driving through Pennsylvania, driving through the mountains there. But yeah, I arrived on the first. I am in my grandmother's house with my aunt, and the current plan right now is to get the house ready to sell. I think we have up to 6 months to get to make that happen. Um, and then once we get it sold, I guess we'll find another place. My aunt wants to get a mobile home and move into that. So well, I guess that'll work. It was fine with me. Otherwise, there's like looking at housing elsewhere. Um, but we'll see about that. I have not set up my desktop anywhere because all of my grandmother's stuff is still here, and she passed away at the beginning of March. So we're trying to go through all her stuff and uh, get rid of what we can. Maybe try to sell a few things, pass things on to other loved ones. Unfortunately, not many people seem to be interested. My dad doesn't. My dad's not bothering to come up here, and my other aunt isn't bothering to come over as either. But so it's kind of down to me and my aunt who's living here, and I guess my cousins accept the whole, you know, pandemic going on is kind of limiting what we can do. Um, my cousins, the place that they're staying in won't let visitors into the building. So if you want to visit my cousin, my one cousin, they have to come out to you, basically. Um, but they're going to be coming over here in a couple days to help clean up a little bit. And my other cousin has a son, I think. And so they're probably not going to be coming over until the whole pandemic is over, which is smart. So I don't have anything against that at all. So yeah, and my aunt who's staying here, she's on disability. She has trouble walking and getting around. She walks around on a walker, and it's because she's overweight. So a lot of the stuff is kind of left to me, basically. Like she goes through a few things, but she has to like sit down to do it, and she's taking it pretty slowly because she was the one taking care of my grandmother through the end of it. So she's kind of weighed down by that, and so I've currently cleaned out the bedroom. I'm actually sleeping in the bedroom. There's really nowhere for me to set up my desktop, so I can't really use it. So I'm using my MacBook for videos and classwork and whatnot, which is why I haven't done any type of Minecraft or anything. But hopefully I can get back into that relatively soon. I'm not sure how good the internet is for stuff like that, but we'll see. We'll see how things go with this video. What else is going on? It's kind of nice to be back in my hometown. I thought I was gonna get a hiccup there. It's nice to be back in my hometown. It's been a little rainy though. But yeah. So, my plan is to basically, I guess, stay with my aunt until I finish my classwork, which would be not the end of this year, but the end of next year. Yeah, my graduation is November of 2021, even though my class schedule only takes me to the end of this year. But at least right now, it'll probably show me more later. But so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of stick around with that. Trying to think if there's anything else that's occurred while I've been here. Well, I might be adopting a couple dogs. Basically, when the stimulus check comes in, I will probably adopt a couple German Shepherds I've had my eye on. But that's, it's kind of hard to do because the shelter that they're in is, they will only allow people who are healthy, and you have to get an appointment. You can't just show up and take a look around. So, and I've emailed them a couple times and they haven't responded to me yet. So once I get my stimulus check, I'm going to call them and get all that sorted out. Speaking of money and stuff, I do not have a job. I guess I could get one. There's limited job openings um, because of the whole pandemic. I've been kind of hesitant to actually do it because of the pandemic. I don't know if I want to be working um, around people who might be sick. So I am on unemployment. I got my first unemployment check, like, I think this morning. Um, so, unfortunately, right now, the unemployment check is not enough for me to pay bills or whatnot. But once the stimulus stuff comes in, I'll get that 1,200 just straight up, and then there's supposed to be an extra 600 on top of my unemployment, which would put my unemployment check at 777 a week. Excuse me. Don't worry, that's not the thing. I'm not sick. I promise. I've I'm introverted too much to be. I'm way too introverted to be sick. Who knows though? My throat has felt a little bit swollen. I will say, like on the inside, it kind of feels like the beginnings of when I had strep throat, when my throat was starting to close up. It like feels like that, like just a little bit, just enough to where I can notice it. Which not sure what that's about. But yeah, I got bills that are gonna start popping up pretty soon, so I gotta deal with that. So hopefully the stimulus check arrives. They say it's gonna arrive on the 15th. I heard the 9th first, but I'm expecting the 15th. They said mid-month or 3 weeks to whatever. So who knows? But I'll just have to deal with it as it comes, and hopefully I can like make my car payment and whatnot on time with all this. So that's my biggest worry right now, and I'm still doing my classwork through it all. Speaking of classwork, finished my script writing class. I'm on the basics of film, and it was kind of a rough start for the first week because I couldn't really find a good place to set up my camera equipment to film anything. I actually spent, and I was moving in the middle of it all too. The night before I moved, I did all my camera settings, all my basic settings, and then after the move, I actually kind of forgot some of my classwork, so I kind of fell behind on that. And my first week wasn't really great because we were doing like white balance and lighting basics, and we had to film like we had to film 3 different 30-second clips at different settings, and then take a screenshot of it or like a screen cap of it and submit that. And I think I got the white balance and the lighting part mostly right, except it was like too dark because I'm filming in the garage, and all the plugs are, you know, really far away. But I do have a power strip now, so this week I have to film at different shutter speeds, so and different exposures. So like for shutter speed, it's like catching things in motion basically. So to do an exterior fast shutter speed, yes, exterior fast shutter speed shot, which I just did of running water, and I'm supposed to catch it like frozen in midair kind of thing. And then an interior low shutter speed, which I did in the garage, and I just spun a coin. So it's supposed to get that blurred effect, I guess. And then I have to do an exterior. What was it? I had to do another exterior and interior shot. Again, I have to do 30-second clips and then take a screen cap of those clips. And on top of that, I have to show I have to do the behind the scenes stuff, and it's kind of a way to like show my work. show how my camera's set up and everything. Depth of field is the other one. So to do one outside with a deep depth of field, which I'm doing of basically landscape. And I'm going to put my car as in the foreground and the mountains will be in the background. I actually have to redo that one because I forgot to do the behind the scenes part. And then there's the interior shallow depth of field, which I did of... What did I do that of? Oh, my license plates. Which, yeah, the license plates I've had over the years. My Florida one, my Massachusetts one, and my first Tennessee plate. So, yeah. But yeah, I have to redo the first one, because I didn't do a behind-the-scenes shot, so I have to, like, redo that. And I have to do a camera report, which basically I write down all my settings, so. And, of course, along with that is the discussion portion, where I have to respond to someone else's post, and, then I have to, like, respond to my own post with some research that I did on the topic, I guess, and talk about why I liked the thing that I found. So, it's great. But I'm glad that we're actually doing legit film stuff this time. So, what else is going on? UHC. So UHC 26 is over. I guess I can just do a legit recap here. I did one with Shaston. However, I recorded it stupidly because OBS was messing up with my audio. So I was going to record audio through my editing software, except the editing software only records my audio and not Shaston's. And any of Shaston's voice that you could hear was probably like leaking through my headphones because my volume's really loud in my headphones. So that was, I uploaded that, and Mixon pointed it out to me that it was messed up. So sorry, Shaston. Unfortunately, and it was out of date anyways, because we recorded it halfway through the episodes. But so yeah, we did the Find Your Partner redemption, and it actually succeeded this time. My first episode, I was in the Dark Oak Forest, so I was able to get Suspicious Stews right away. And I had trouble recording because OBS was being stupid, and it was dropping frames for some reason. I think I got it fixed now, but basically anytime I was above ground, it would drop frames on the recording software, not in the game. Like, I could play the game just fine, but so yeah, I got all my basic stuff, went underground, found a ravine and a zombie dungeon, tackled the zombie dungeon, got myself a saddle and horse armor, and went back up to the surface, tamed a horse, hung around for a little bit, then went back underground. Meanwhile, people are like finding partners left and right, and my options were kind of running low. By the time the third episode came in, I was dealing with the ravine, and then Scott said he saw somebody and just typed "look up" in the chat. And so I looked up and I spent an entire minute just kind of staring at the ceiling, like, is he up there? Did he see me? And a skeleton dropped in and shot me, which killed my Iron Man bid. But I made it to the third episode this time, so I'm making progress, one episode at a time. And at that point, it was down to... He ended up finding Mixon, is the person. He found the other Tennessee guy. But, well, I'm not even the Tennessee guy anymore. I'm the New Hampshire guy now. But, we, at that point, my choices were Shaston and Weather, because Rad had died before finding a partner, so someone was going to be alone. And at that point, I was like, if I go to the Nether, I'm pretty sure Shaston will follow me. And turns out I was right. So I built a portal, I found my diamonds, went through the portal, Shaston came through, and we teamed up. We went back to my cave, found a abandoned mineshaft, and we found all our diamonds. We got ourselves enchanted. And then we came across a notch apple, and I was like, nope, I don't want this, you can have it. And so I passed it on to Shaston. And then we went up to the surface, I collected my horse, started making our way towards 0-0, and I tamed a different horse because I had a little bit more hearts, and then we came across Joda and RV Bagel, who actually came across Scott and Mixon just before us, and we got into a fight with Joda and Bagel. Shasta ate the notch apple. I basically mostly focused on Bagel because she was just wailing on me the entire time. Um, and the horse proved to be very useful in absorbing a lot of damage. Because, again, just like in Season 5, the horse took all the damage and died, and then I got the kill on Bagel. And then Joda took off running, and then we saw Mixon and Scott, who we thought was Green Team at the time, but it was actually Scott and Mixon. And but we continued to chase Joda for a while, and then kind of lost him in the woods, and turned back and started chopping down trees. Turns out Joda was around everybody by then. He saw Killer and Naxer, and I think he saw a Green Team as well. He definitely saw Killer and Naxer. But then yeah, he tried to do the "Can I make this jump" reenactment, and it was pretty good. It was definitely a lot. It was a good attempt, a good homage to Fruit's attempt way back in Season 8. So, and then Dennis and Panda found Killer and Naxer, and Dennis had on Hot Chapel, and almost killed Naxer, but Killer swooped in to the rescue. That's kind of what we thought was the best shot at anybody being able to take down Killer and Naxer, who are the two best players in the game. And so we started making our way to 0-0, and we run into Scott and Mixon, and I got my second kill there. I killed Scott, and then Mixon kind of backed off, and then when he came back around, he kind of spooked me, and we got into a bit of a fight, and then I had to back off to eat an apple, and then Shasta dumped lava on himself, so I ran back in. When he spooked me, he actually caused me to panic switch to my axe, and that actually kind of reminded me that, hey, the axe is pretty useful. And so twice I was able to knock down his shield and then get some hits in on him. And the second time, we actually, Shastin killed him. So, yeah, Shastin had a bunch of lag that season. So we were both struggling with my recording and his lag. So we were not the preferred perspective for excitement. But, we each got a kill or two, and moved ourselves to 0-0. We found the Green Team, which was Fire Eyes, who was good to see him back, and Tiny Stranger. Also good to see Mixon back, by the way. They're up on a mountain. And then on the neighboring mountain was Dakota and Bufadine on the blue team. And we knew that Naxer and Killer were somewhere nearby as well. So we skirted around the mountain to the other side as Killer and Naxer were trying to move in on the other two teams. And I guess we kind of all had the same thought in mind, or at least Green Team and I. We had the same idea to go after Killer. And I think Blue Team kind of had the same thing, but they were also like, if we can get somebody else as well, that would be good. Because at one point, Killer and Naxer put themselves right in the middle of all of us, and they had nowhere to go during that. And yeah, we shot it. I think all of us shot at them at some point, but eventually, Fire Eyes and Tiny ran in on their horses. They killed Killer, and that turned everything into chaos right there. That opened everything up. And I went after Naxer, tried to eat an apple at one point, but he jumped in at the right time, and I was one bite away from finishing my apple, and I stopped eating, which was not the right call. But yeah, so he ended up killing me, and then Green Team took care of Blue Team, and then they took care of Shawson, so it was Green Team versus Naxer, and then Tiny Stranger got killed by Naxer, and there was a long back and forth between Fire Eyes and Naxer, in which Finally, Nixer crossed the river to come after him, and he kind of got baited into Fire Eye's trap, I guess, and Fire won. Got the kill on Nixer, and Fire Eyes has won back-to-back Find a Partner UHCs. Killer still gets a second place finish, but it was his lowest individual finish in a long time. I got 2 kills, and this is the first time I've got kills in back-to-back seasons ever, which is good. So it was a good season. It was a fun season. Definitely ranks pretty high on my list, and I still want to do a video on like least to most favorite UHCs at some point. I got a list that I'm keeping. So yeah, I think the demons of season 10 have officially been exorcised, and we can finally put that behind us. It was good to team up with Shastin again, even if we did have our issues with our recording stuff. And hopefully we both can have a better setup next time around. UHC 26 will take place in June, so June, July-ish. But that was not the only UHC we did. We did an April Fool's UHC, which I was kind of on the fence about doing for a little bit, but then when the whole pandemic and quarantining stuff happened, I was like, you know what, we're all stuck in our houses, might as well. So I kind of threw it together really quick, and we did teams of 2, and I teamed up with Canuck, which was nice to see him back around. And we did some secret gimmicks, which turned out to be that basically everything you break drops something random. So all loot drops are randomized. And what else was going on? The growth tick rate was increased, though never really saw much of that. Basically, anything you planted would grow really fast. We noticed that with bamboo at one point, but it was not that big of a deal. Also, the coordinates were removed, so that was a pleasant surprise. So it's kind of hard to figure out where we were going after a while. But yeah, this was just a fun little gimmicky UHC. We took out some of the rules, and not really too much to say about it. Made a little highlights video. It was fun to do. Canuck and I did not get a kill. We found out that red mushrooms drop notch apples. So, but then Lemons and Mixon came running in, and oh yeah, we also had 30 hearts of health instead of 10, which was another crazy addition. So we got into a big fight and then eventually lost. And it came down to Salo and Fire Eyes, I want to say. And then, oh yeah, Muck went to the end and killed the dragon. And there's all kinds of stuff. We closed the border on everybody to finish it off. There was no real winner, per se. It would have been either, Sayolo or Fire Eyes. Or you could say Muck won because he killed the dragon. I guess that's the snitch, the golden snitch there. But yeah, it was a fun thing to do. We're probably going to do that a couple times a year, maybe. I don't really have a schedule for it, so maybe we'll do one near the, I don't know, maybe after 27 or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe closer, maybe around the holidays or something. We'll have to think up more gimmicks to do. I have an idea for one, but it will require more logistical stuff. But it'd be kind of fun to do if we could pull it off. So that's all for me. I don't really have much else to talk about. I'm not really sure, like, how videos are gonna work after this. I guess I'll just upload when I can. Like I said, my desktop's not set up, so I can't really play any games right now. We're still gonna get the house ready to sell, and that's gonna be slow going. And I'm going to do my classes in the meantime, and hopefully not, lose any of my stuff to lack of income. But we'll see how things go. I still have my vacation. I I think I mentioned rescheduling my vacation. I'm doing it in the beginning of June. I rescheduled both of my vacations for like less than what it costs to pay for the Colorado trip in April. So I'm still doing the Vegas trip first and then Colorado. It's the same amount of days, just a lot cheaper. So as long as airlines don't, shut down in the next couple months, I will be doing that in June. So, but yeah, that should be all for me. I do hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Um, we still have 30 seconds of footage left, but see if there's anything else I can say. Not really. I'd like to get back on the server and do some more stuff. But I might record some more GoPro footage and such things like that. So that's probably the main content you'll be seeing. Maybe I'll share some of my class stuff, but we'll see. So hope you guys have enjoyed watching, and I shall see you all next time.